Peace, family. This is your boy, Gerald. It is December 21st. Correction, December 23rd, 2019. And we're bringing this night to a close because in a matter of 29 minutes, it will be Christmas Eve. And I am ending my day. Ending my day. I definitely am. So, how was your week thus far? How was your weekend? I wanted to take the time as soon as I walked in from outside in the world back to my inner sanctum, and I wanted to put this message out for the intended heart, intended mind, and you'll find this in the intended time when it's divinely meant. You know, just as many of you you're driving around, your mode of transportation to get to wherever your objective is. And a lot of times it's on autopilot because we are prioritizing our day. We have an objective and a timeline that we are to meet. And as I brought my day to a close, as I was coming home, like many of you, being behind the steering wheel, you find yourself pondering, reflecting. Sometimes you even tend to manifest. And it hit me, an epiphany, as I was driving down the highway, and the thought process that was placed in my spirit was to reflect on two words: windows and doors. And the significance of those two objects, the importance of both, and the symbology of what they represent. And as I was driving home in the darkness, navigating through the traffic lights and stop signs and entertaining drivers that pretty much didn't want me to get home because it was written all over their face. I realized I realized how easy we lose focus and how quickly time erodes from that distraction. Now follow me if you will, because there's a reason why I'm saying all these things. For starters, we're about to bring 2019 home. This year is about to become a memory. And with that being said, think about how not only magnificent and incredible your journey has been thus far. Think about all the hundreds of thousands of windows and doors that have been placed in front of you, and you've had to make the decision to stop, take note, or even walk through. And this brings me to this message to you. Be grateful for where you are right now. I don't care, and I say that with love, what your circumstances may be. Because right now, you are present where you're supposed to be at this moment, a pivotal moment. Because I'm here to tell you, your blessings are coming. They are coming. Maybe for some of you, 2019 was a springboard year. Maybe 2019 felt like a traffic jam and there was conflict here and there was obstacles there, and actually what was being required was for you to take accountability by being present in your life. 2019, there were a lot of conversations that were long overdue, and you feel a little better. Some of you may have some clarity on some things that were fear based. Some, it may make you feel a little easier. The other, it tapped into your strength. 2019 was a year for a lot of you that you heard your voice by way of your heart for the first time. You found comfort in the uncomfortable. We know this as discourse. We know this as drama. But really, all it is fear. You know, fear. Finally, everything's a reality. But even in your reality, you must make a choice to be present in it. Who am I talking to? But I say this humbly to the intended heart and intended mind. And I don't want to be winded. I'm trying to be mindful for, because it's 11:38 here in Virginia Beach, East Coast time. You may not realize it right now, but you got a lot of eyes on you right now. And for some, it's blatant. For others, you find it entertaining. But the truth of the matter is, you are the example of what makes your reality. And you are indirectly to mentor to others because it is about each one teach one, fam. You have a lot riding on your shoulders based off of the decision of your foundation that you have. This is nothing but the preparation of what shall be asked for next year. Some of y'all are in a position now where you're on top of your valley and you are surveying as far as you can see, hoping that it will match what you feel inside. Kind of like building, it's kind of like making a cake, but you're missing one ingredient. And that ingredient actually is you. You are the spice that ties it all together. You are the linchpin to the mosaic masterpiece called your life. 2020, it is time that you take your place. Now, there's going to be a price. You know there has to be a price because the price will be what makes your ideologies and what is truth compared to what is allegory or hearsay. And 2020 is going to be that year that if it doesn't fit, it doesn't matter. And you're going to be comfortable with that. Sure, your environment is going to adjust naturally. It has to. There'll be times where you'll be wondering when the next shoe will proverbially drop, but it won't. But yet, it will not give you opportunity to be lax about it. No, 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 no. Because the work required for 2020 will be the will be what is what defines your character. It actually is what makes you smile. It's your transparency by way of your intimacy. Every time you say, I love you. See, anybody can use the word LOVE, let it fall from your precious lips, hoping that it will stick. But the truth of the matter is, you're not going to want that. All you want is what is authentic, and you're waiting for it. Because 2020 is about patience. 2020 is about actually obtaining what is rightly your God given talents, your birthright. Now, with that being said, I believe 2020 is going to be also a requirement where a family will take its rightful place, where some that are close to you compared to those you don't have access to. But in the intended time, because he makes a way when there is none. And all he asks is that you believe. But how can you believe in something if you won't believe in you? Who am I talking to? Peace and blessings, DB. I see you. Just got home from work. But I'm excited. You might not realize it, but I'm ecstatic because I believe that 2020 is going to be that year. The things that were hidden will be revealed. Now, I'm not trying to sound like the Grim Reaper because I'm not. I'm a spiritual man that flesh and bone just like you. But I don't have time for fear. I don't have time for foolishness either. Because we already have constant examples of those every time you step out your door now, huh? All you want to do is get to work so you can get back home. But there's always a reminder outside your window or in the store that you go to. Remember, there used to be a time where people actually wanted to be polite, but somewhere, somehow, there's a major disconnect. But I realized something too, something that I've always known. Energy out is energy returned. So if you do not give it what it wants, it will not get what you have, which is your time. And usually, very quickly, just like the illusion, it is gone. So tell me again why you should not be optimistic for your new season. That's what I'm describing. And here's the beautiful thing about it 365 in 57 days, you made a decision to walk in the season you're about to end. Now, take note just for a second how much you've moved, how much you've seen. How about them doors? What about them windows? How about the times you stood still? Because 2020 is going to be requiring that too. There are going to be plenty of examples that will bring you to the threshold just to take note, but not to claim. Why? Because you're going to be afforded your insight. And that validation will be your wisdom if it comes by examples of others. Isn't that what each one teach one's about? But more importantly, I would be remiss not to tell the intended heart and intended mind this. Do not get caught up in the symbology of what the now is. Don't. There are people walking around with their spirits on low that don't realize this one thing. See, you can't buy someone's happiness. It must be earned through time. Just like a seed planted in the soil, it must be cultivated, it must be nurtured so the roots can run deep to support the stem. And when the stem is fortified, there is growth, there is change, there is maturity. So, what I'm trying to tell you is this: you do understand there'll never be another you. This is your one moment in time. And if you can acknowledge that one aspect, you also realize that the greatest gift that will be ever seen will not be found under your tree or the menorah if you're Jewish faith, or Kwanzaa if that is your belief. It won't be found there at all. It will be found in your reflection. It will be treasured by your presence. Key word, presence. That means you must be accountable. That means you must represent. That also means that you might not realize it, but you're priceless. The greatest gift you'll ever bestow someone is time. And I'm saying that because I know where I was a year ago today. See, a year ago today, I was saying goodbye to someone that I had the pleasure to know for a short period of time. But in that short time, I treasured every moment that was given, every conversation that was shared. So I'm saying this to you: whatever you decide to do these next, say, week and a half, you make sure you put your best foot forward. Don't squander it. Because not to sound morbid, but unfortunately, no man knoweth the time or the moment. We tend to overshadow that. Some of us think that we are able to hit the reset button. We're able to get back what once was. I can't get back what's in my heart and given to you almost 21 minutes ago because that's what love's about. You give it. Doesn't mean the person has to receive it, but it's still a gift to you. But I'm excited, family. I am so excited what this next season will reveal. Now, I will say this, there are going to be some aha moments. Be prepared for it. Because just as it was written, all things done in the dark, that's right, will come to the light. And I like to believe that all things lost shall be found. Perhaps for some, it'll be your smile. For others, it will be your heartbeat when it pitter pats, when you decide to empower yourself, to truly love yourself. Now, granted, I do understand there are going to be some people, because it is proud, the social narrative, there are going to be some people feeling that because they're not with a certain person or sharing a certain moment that they missed out. Let me tell you something. All things that are meant for you to have will be given the moment it is. So don't allow that to distract you. Don't. Some of you will also understand what it means to know your self worth. You'll be able to understand what standing in your truth is, as well as knowing what grace is all about. You should be very excited because also, and I'm going to leave it where it is as I say this, when you decide to stop proverbially kicking and screaming and holding on for dear life, but it is not yielding you what you long for, you will finally understand what you needed all along. As you've heard me say before, 2020 is this: when you decide to get out of their way, you will see your own. And as long as you're willing to see your own, those doors will be opened. They will never close. Why? Because you're ready to walk through them. You should be very proud of yourself. But if you think that being, shall I say, manipulative or trying to navigate life like a chess move, you'll come to realize that your environment is not the pawn. You've been representing one when you're actually a king and a queen. So, lastly, I don't want to be winded. I'm going to wrap this up. from me to you. You have a blessed, safe Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Make sure that you make a point to reach out to those who matter. Do not squander your time for those who will not value it. Remember, communication is sender receiver. It is the infinity sign. And that love is unbreakable. The common denominator is you. The question is when you're going to claim it. So you be safe if you're going to be on the road, the highways and byways, family, because let's be real. There are going to be people that are going to start their day that won't be able to conclude it because of a choice. And unfortunately, we live in an environment where people will not see the same value in their mortality, let alone value yours. So be careful on those roads and love the people that love you back. It's time. And I got something for 2020. Trust and believe on that. But I just wanted to take this time because I got a feeling somebody thinks they're alone. You know, you're an island within yourself, or you are visible, you're invisible in a sea of people. But that's what you think. It's like, I could stand in a crowded room and feel like I'm by myself. No, that's not true. That buffer that you feeling is your protection. You just don't realize it. But you'll understand it. You'll see. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Be blessed because you are. Peace.